25th of May, Rabbi Furst, Ruth. Baruch Hashem, I'm doing well.
How's your grandson?
It's a weird situation. It seems like it's not as urgent as I thought it was. They did not do surgery yet. It's not bothering him.
Right.
But it's still there. The object, which we think is a hair, is still there, and I told my son he needs to get a second opinion.
Yeah.
But he also has to go to the hospital. He went to the hospital and they gave him a bunch of forms to fill out and the whole bureaucracy. I'll turn.
Thank you. Okay. Good morning. This is Rabbi Shlomo Furst here in Yerushalayim. Yeshiva Tzalman here in Yerushalayim care of Zoom. This is our first year. We're learning Megillas Ruth. Yeah. So look, you should know that there is a open discussion in the Rishonim about when, where, how Ruth was not Ms. Geyer, and so the discussions that we're having amongst ourselves are only echoes of what's been discussed previously in generations in ours. But we're trying to learn it as we see it, and actually, when we finish the Megillah, because we're getting pretty close to the end, then we'll try and spend some time with a little bit of how we taught how to learn what's going on. Let's see. Are you hearing me okay?
Yes, good.
Yeah, I'm hearing you fine.
Fine. Okay, good.
I have a note in my book that I wrote.
Yeah.
On Pasuk 4:7 that that it says, look in Bava Metzia 47a.
47a.
I don't know. I mean, it's on the commentary that talks about the Chalipin and the Moabite, not a Moabitess. So maybe it clarifies something about that.
Okay, we can let's hold on to that. We'll just like we have Kesubis. I think there was Dav Zion to look at also, right?
Right.
Right. So we haven't forgotten about that. So, but hopefully we'll get to all those points. In the meantime, let's I think go into the pasuk where we last left off, which was, I think we were going to do what, pasuk 10, was it?
My marker is on 9.
9. Okay, let's go. Let's see from 9. Yeah, who's going to do some reading? Good morning, Roy.
Good morning, Rabbi Furst. Good morning, Ron.
Good morning, Roy.
We lost Barry. Huh? Okay, he'll be back, I hope.
Well, I guess that gives me the opportunity to read.
Okay.
I think it was my turn anyway. I think he read yesterday.
Yeah, unless Roy would like to do a little reading.
No, it's fine. That's fine. Thank you.
Whatever you like. Whatever you come to with. Okay.
It will interfere with his eating.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Vayomer Boaz L'Zakanim V'chol Ha'am Edim Atem Hayom Ki Kinisi Es Kol Asher Le Elimelech Ve'es Kol Asher Le Chilyon Umachlon Miyad Naami. Boaz said to the elders and all the nation that were all the nation, witness witnesses, you are witnesses today that all that I have purchased all that that is Elimelech's and all that is Kilion's and Machlon's from the hand of Naomi.
Right. And so this is a bit difficult because he's saying everything, right? I mean, we were explaining a bit yesterday that Naomi was selling the part of the inheritance
That
which
is the ketubah.
was kasuba, but here it's saying everything, and I doubt her kasuba was worth the whole homestead, right? So that's a little bit bothersome. What the pshat is in everything here. All right.
Yeah, that does seem kind of odd.
Yeah, it seems kind of extreme. Everything. How did Naomi get everything? I don't really. I'm lost as to understanding how did she get everything?
It's also troubling that they've been living the life of paupers for a while now. It's been at least a few months that the harvest
Should be about 3 months. That's what we said. It was from the beginning of the wheat harvest till the end of the barley harvest, which the Medrash says that's a 3 month period of time. Right?
So
that also corresponds to the waiting time of Ruth to become a full Geirus, according to
right.
Rashi's pshat. Right.
So why did they wait? I mean, why are they living like paupers when they've got property?
Right. Right. Good. I agree. Yeah. That should be that question should be answered.
It could be that the land that she supposedly is in control of was had not been used for many years, and it was not usable. It could be all overgrown.
Right.
And there was she couldn't get any produce out of it. I mean, that would be a logical thing to happen if they were all in Moab for 10 years or more, and the land laid fallow. I mean, it would be all overgrown.
But when it says here, all of Elimelech and all that was Gideon, that must mean other things other than land. But on the other hand, that was all there in Moab, and they were over here.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think
Right, so the land in Eretz Israel could have been.
Go ahead, Barry.
No, I'm saying in Eretz Israel, not in Moab, but in Eretz Israel, the land that they had abandoned was not usable when they returned.
Good.
Right, and she didn't have the money to hire workers and tools and all that to do something.
Right.
I have a comment that says, thus Boaz now acquired all of Elimelech's property, which had been inherited by his sons, as well as the sons' property, upon which their death had reverted to Elimelech's estate. So according to this, there was multiple properties here.
Right.
However, since Naomi had a lien on Elimelech's property to pay her marriage settlement, and Ruth had a similar lien on the brother's property, which she had given Naomi as a gift, Boaz purchased all the property of Elimelech and his sons from the hand of Naomi. So that's now another question. How does Ruth get this lien, unless if she was legally married to him?
Right. Unless, I mean, look, it could be, even if even in terms of, look, there's let's separate things. You have the, the religious status of, um, Ruth's marriage to Machlon, and you have the legal financial status of Ruth's marriage to Machlon. Even if we'll say that Ruth's marriage was not a religiously authorized, certified, valid marriage, but still, if they made legal and financial agreements between themselves, it's just like two men making a financial agreement between themselves, right? So if Machlon had a friend who was a Moavi, uh, let's say that he had a friend and he was a Moavi, and he made an agreement to sell his field to him. So that would be financially binding, legally binding, regardless as to whether or not they certainly didn't get married to each other, but there would still be a financial and a legal uh, obligation that would have to be kept, right? So we could say, yeah, we could say that Ruth didn't necessarily have to have been converted and married religiously to Machlon, but even if there was a social and a legal marriage, which would be recognized in some way or another, so that would be that also create certain chiyuvin which would have to be kept, right?
So that's not it. That's it's not a problem to make those kind of business dealings with idol worshippers.
Well, I mean, they're not. I wouldn't. We cautioned against making agreements financially. You know, because of that's different things. You don't want to enter into a partnership with a non-Jew because uh, because he might make you take a shvua to his avodah zorah if he say he contests your claims in his courts and things like this. But those are all technical issues. But in terms of, let's say Machlon, right? Machlon wanted to make a deal with Balak, right? Balak was one of the kings of Moab, right?
Right.
So Machlon went to Balak, right? We see that Avraham Avinu made a deal with Abimelech, right? Right? The Melech Pishtim, right? So let's say Machlon went and made a deal with Balak, right? So that would be legally binding, right? So it could be that we could split the atom here and say that the financial responsibilities that Machlon took to his wife. Look, he was clearly married to Ruth. There's no doubt he was married to Ruth. Whether he was married under Jewish law or not under Jewish law is one question, right? But assuming that he married her, which is clearly the case, so let's make another assumption that he made financial agreements with her as well in terms of providing for, he took out life insurance for her and all these things, right, Barry? And he gave her a civil kasuba. Let's say he gave her a civil kasuba, right? So even though in Jewish law, let's say on the opinion that Ruth was not yet converted, so it was not a religious marriage, and all the things that follow consequently from that are in place. But nevertheless, you can say there was still financial, legal, and social obligations which he had made and should be kept to Ruth. That would make things a little bit more simple, no?
Yeah, I guess. I'm just thinking there's various laws about not not doing business with idol worshipers around their festivals. So I guess that implies that if it's not their festival, it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, you can do business with the non-Jews. Okay. In Mitzrayim during Makas Dam, the Mitzrayim came to us to buy water, right?
Right. Right.
So yeah. It's better to do business with Jews, but you know, you want to make a parnasa, so you have to consult to the non-Jews also. I wouldn't cut down and sell pine trees for them in December, but you could maybe sell them tennis rackets.
Right.
All right, let's continue on.
Okay, so we're up to 10 now, correct?
Right, that's right.
The Gam es Rus Hamo Avia Eshes Machlon Kenisi li Isha le Hakim Shem Hames al Nachal Lasso Velo Yikares Shem Hames Me'im Echav U Mi Sha'ar Mikomo Adim Es Atem Hayom. And also Ruth, the Moabite, the wife of Machlon, I have acquired for myself to be a wife, to raise up the name of the dead on his inheritance, and it should not be cut off. The name of the dead, the name of the dead should not be cut off from his nation, from among his brothers, and from the gate of his place. Today you are witnesses.
Right. Good.
So to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance, that seems to be a commercial reference rather than a spiritual one.
You want to explain a little bit more about what?
Well, it's his inheritance.
Right.
Is I mean, is that talking about his spiritual inheritance, talking about the child, or is that talking about the field?
Right.
I mean, the second part, to cut off from among his brothers. I don't know. I guess you could read that two ways also.
Right. Right. You could go. It's not really. It's not definitive one way or the other.
Oh, now here's an interesting comment that we were talking about the Sanhedrin before.
Yeah.
The comment says, after the redemption of the field was completed, Ruth was brought, and the marriage ceremony took place in the presence of the Sanhedrin.
Right. The 10. Those were the 10 that he pulled together.
Right.
Right.
So to show that the Sanhedrin approved.
Right, because that was the whole point, Moavis. That was going to make the halacha known that it's Moavis is mutter to come to the kahal, marry. She can marry into the fold. Right,
Right.
very good. Okay, good. Let's go to the next post. Number 11.
Vayomer kol ha'am asher ba'sha'ar v'hasakenim edim yiten Hashem es ha'isha haba'a el beisecha kirachel uchelea asher banu shitehem es beis Yisrael va'asei va'asei chayil be'ef rasa ukura shem beves lechem. And all the people said, all the people that were in the gate and the elders said, witnesses, I guess we are witnesses. May Hashem give the woman who is coming to your house. Oh, may Hashem make the woman that is coming to your house like Rachel and like Leah, that built, that both of them built the house of Israel, and may you prosper in Ephrata, and may your name be called in Bethlehem. May your name, and they will call your name in Bethlehem.
Okay, so that's obviously that they're moving forward with the marriage ceremony, obviously, right?
Right. Right. What is Ephrata referring to?
Excuse me, Lou?
What is Ephrata referring to?
Befrosa, that was the name of the place where they were, right? Befrosa, remember they're going back all the way back to the beginning. If you go back to I think one of the first or the second verses. Let's see.
It says that they were from Bethlehem.
No. It says here, Befrosa. Look at the first chapter, the second pasuk.
Okay. I don't see Ephrata here. I see now the name of the man was Elimelech, and the name of his wife Naomi, and the name of his two sons Machlon and Kilion, Ephratites. Oh, is that it? Ephratites?
Yeah, that's right.
But doesn't that mean they were from the tribe of Ephraim?
No. Ephrasa is a reference to a place. Beit Lechem was a Ephrasa, if I'm not mistaken. Ephrasa was like the region, and Beit Lechem was like a village, a town in Ephrasa.
But it says me Beis Lechem.
Right.
From
right,
Bethlehem.
They were. It's like saying they're Californians from Los Angeles.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay. So Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so this is the wedding.
Yeah, this is, yeah, and they're going forward. Look at the next pasuk. It's getting more intense.
Vihi vescha ke ves peretz. Oh, here comes Meir. Asher Yalda Tamar LiYehuda min Hazera Asher Yitain Hashem Lecha min Ha-Na'ara Hazos. Okay, so and may it be that your house is like the house of Peretz, that in which was born, or in which gave birth Tamar, in which Tamar gave birth to brought a child to Judah, Yehuda, from the offspring that Hashem will give to you from this young woman. It's odd it
Right.
uses the word Nara.
Right. That right. We've had that expression used a few times in relation to the Rus a few times, right?
Yeah. It doesn't seem at all appropriate to call a bride who is a widow.
She's 40 years old now, by the way.
She's 40 years old, to call her a Nara.
Yeah. Okay. Look, could be. Could be that that's used generically a little bit different than using a not a young woman, but a yeah.
Hi, Meir. Welcome.
Good morning, thank you.
Good morning, man. Good morning, man.
We
Where-
just read
morning.
verse 4:12.
Thank you very much.
Okay, weiter.
Yeah, let's continue on.
Vayikach Boaz es Rus vatehi lo leisha vayavo eleha vayitain Hashem la he rayon vateled ben. Okay, so Boaz took Ruth, and she became his wife, and he came to her, and Hashem gave her a birth, and she bore a son.
Right. So
It's the Malbim says on that this was when she became his wife, that was a marriage ceremony, and it was not a Levirate marriage.
right.
So okay, so that could indicate that she was not Jewish at the time she was married to Machlon, or otherwise it would have to be a Levirate marriage.
Yeah. That
So it seems that that's a proof that the conversion came later,
okay.
not at the time she married Machlon.
Good. I hear. Very good. Okay.
Okay, so I mean that's what the Malbim says.
Yeah.
I have a comment here that we should look at Yevamos 20b for a discussion of Yibum.
But also, I've got a comment here that says that according to scriptural law, there need be no marriage ceremony for Levirate marriage, since she is in his wife already, married to him by heaven. The verse makes it clear that Boaz did not act in accordance with the custom, see Rambam, of Yibum, of Levirate marriage.
Because it wasn't necessary. I mean, if Yibum was required, Boaz certainly would have done it. He wouldn't have bypassed it. He wouldn't have ignored it. So the
Right.
fact that they had a chuppah, so to speak, indicates that this was not connected to Yibum.
Right.
And on that very night, Boaz died.
You're right. Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that's very good. Those comments are very important. Okay. Let's now see the. So this pasuk Yud Gimel speeds forward 9 months, right, from the time of the consummation of the marriage between Boaz and Ruth until the later. That's a 9 month pasuk right there, right, Barry?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that about the 9 months?
This pasuk is a 9 month pasuk, right? It's discussing what happened in the
Oh, yeah, right,
period of time for 9 months. Yes. Okay.
Right. okay.
Okay. Let's continue on with the next pasuk. Dalet.
Vat tomarna hanashim el naami Baruch Hashem asher lo hish bis lach goel hayom vayikare shemo Yisrael. And the women said to Naomi, "Blessed is Hashem, who has not left you without a redeemer this day, and may his name be called in Israel." May his name be called in Israel. Usually it says, may his name be called in Israel, Ploni Almoni.
I'm not sure what you're asking me.
It says, may his name be called in Israel. That sounds like only half of a sentence.
Vikra Shemot. Well, it doesn't tell you. It doesn't Vayikra Shemo Israel. It doesn't say what the name of the child is.
So my translation, I don't know if it's based on commentary, says, may his name be famous in Israel.
Right.
Ah,
That's
Yeah.
another. Yeah,
You
very
have
good.
the Judaic press. That's the one you have.
I have Art Scroll.
Yeah. That, I also have that. May his name be famous.
yeah, that makes more sense.
Okay, we're almost there.
Very good. Okay.
Haya lach the meshiv nefesh ulechalkel es seva seich ki chalasech asher ahe vatecha Yiladatu asher he tova lach mi shiva banim. Okay, and it means and he shall be for you a restorer of the soul, and sustain your old age for
Whose old age is this referring to here?
I think it must be Naomi, no?
Referring to Naomi.
That's what I would think too.
Women, because the previous verse says the women said to Naomi.
Right.
I think this is part of 15 and 14, I think go together. It's all what they said to Naomi.
Right. I mean, Ruth is now out of the picture also. Boaz is out of the picture. Ruth is out of the picture. The only one left around here is Naomi.
Right. Well, that's consistent with what we're going to see about Naomi. Naomi nurses him,
Yeah.
which doesn't make any sense. She's old and she wasn't pregnant, so how's she also nursing?
Right.
So, but actually, no. The next thing it mentions is your daughter-in-law, your old age, because, like your daughter-in-law that loves you, who is better to you than 7 sons who has borne him.
Right.
Oh, so clearly it must be Naomi because it says your daughter-in-law. He's going to be a restorer of life and sustain you in your old age because he comes from your daughter-in-law who loves you.
Right. So this is being said about to Naomi.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay.
And my commentary says explicitly, the new infant, said the women, would bring joy into Naomi's life and restore her spirit. When he grew up, he would support her in her old age and bury her when she died.
Okay. Very good. Let's see further. That's Zion. Tikach Naomi as a Yeled.
Oh, now I have an interesting comment. Look
Yeah.
at Shabbos 53b. Man nurses baby.
Right. Okay.
That must be, I must have asked, how can she nurse him? And somebody must have answered me and said, look over there.
Yeah, the Gemara says there was a certain man, he didn't have, his wife was not with him anymore. He had a young child, a baby, an infant. And so Hashem made a nace and he was able to nurse. So shouldn't wonder how Naomi could nurse.
Right.
Rebbe, doesn't that Gemara also say that was not a compliment to him?
Yeah, the Gemara goes into the question, and also the question explained that it's not that for a person to have a miracle is not always a very beneficial thing. It's better not to have miracles being done for a person rather than have to rely on miracles. Right. That's right. Very good, Barry.
Okay, weiter. V'tikach Naomi es ha-yeled v'tishisehu v'cheika natahi lo leomenes. Okay, so Naomi took the child and placed him in her bosom and became for him a nurse, his nurse.
Okay. So the question is, where is Ruth in all of this, right?
Yeah.
Good question.
Ruth is the mother. Why shouldn't Ruth be the one who's nursing around here?
I've got a note here going back to 13 that says, with Ruth's marriage and the birth of her child, her place in Jewish history is secure. Ruth's name is no longer mentioned in the Megillah. The sages maintain she enjoyed unusual longevity. She lived to see her royal descendant Shlomo on the throne. Bava Basra 91b.
Oh,
Now, I have an interesting comment that goes with that.
Right, go ahead, Lou.
I'm just writing down Bava Basra 91b.
Right.
So it says, there is an opinion that Naomi raised the child because Ruth died.
Oh.
However, according to our sages, Ruth lived to see the great grandson, the child's great grandson Shlomo sitting on the throne. Apparently, there's a machloket on that point.
How old would she have to be?
Excuse me, Roy?
How old would she have to be to see Shlomo on the throne?
That would be quite a while. That would be
Well, David was 70. Shlomo was 12, I think.
right.
That would be, but I don't know how old Shlomo was when David died. But we're talking about at least 70 years for David's life. I have no idea how long Yishai lived before David was born.
Right.
David was like the 10th son. So probably at least 30 years old, if not 40.
Ovid. You have three
We'd have to look,
generations.
we'd have to look it up. We'll be able to find it out, but it would be quite a while. The time don't forget, this was the time when there was still no basic mikdash. This was the time of the Shoftim, and going all the way through the time of Shlomo Melech sitting in the Zohar of the basic mikdash.
Well, I would reason we're talking about at least 110 plus 40, at least 150 years old.
Right. Yeah. And then she was 40 years old at the time at the beginning here.
Right, I included that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
110 plus 40. She was 40 years old, plus Yishai was 40 when David was born, plus David was 70. That's how I get the 150. That's a minimum.
Yeah, well, we're gonna see. We'll see these are now you'll see the generations. Now the Psukim discuss the generations.
Right.
Yeah, let's see further. Yeah.
Vatik Rena Lo Hashchenot Shame Lemor Yulad Bain Le Naami Vatik Rena Shemo Oved Hu Avi Yishai Avi David. Okay, so
So
the women who were the neighbors called his name, saying, there's a son has been born to Naomi. And they called his name Oved. He is the father of Yishai, the father of David.
What does Ovid mean?
I mean, are you reading in terms of the meaning of the name?
Yes.
Well,
what's so bad? Let's see.
Oived is usually someone who is a worker.
My commentary says it means he who serves God.
Yeah, there you go.
Uh-huh.
That's
And
right.
it says that they were undecided about whether they should name him after Machlon or after Boaz, because Boaz had died. And it says that the reason that the neighbors named him was that Naomi and Ruth were so bereaved by Boaz dying
Mhm. Right.
that they didn't have the heart to name him.
Uh-huh. Okay. Right, that's reasonable. That's a reasonable explanation. Very good. Okay.
Weiter?
Yes.
Ve'ele toldos Peretz holid es Chetzron. And these are the generations of Peretz. Peretz begot Chetzron. Chetzron holid es Ram. Ram holid es Aminadav. Va'aminadav holid es Nachshon. V'Nachshon holid es Salma. So Chetzron begot Ram, and Ram begot Aminadav, and Aminadav begot Nachshon, and Nachshon begot Salma. The Salma holid es Boaz, the Boaz holid es Oved, and Salma begot Boaz, and Boaz begot Oved. V'Oved begot V'Oved holid es Yishai, v'Yishai holid es David. And Oved begot Ishai, and Ishai begot David. That's the full family tree. And my note says, look at Bava Basra 91a for the family tree.
Right. Okay. So that's the culmination. That was the whole tachlis that that Oived should be born, and then Oived should be the great grandfather of David, right? So this child that came from Ruth and from Boaz is the great grandfather of David. Okay. So and that's the whole the background of why all this was taking place, in order that we should be able to have David. Okay. So listen, tomorrow I'm going to send an attachment, a PDF attachment that we'll start learning that, where it's going to be a full discussion on the questions about Ruth's when and where and how she was misguided, and we'll be able to see many of the points that we've been mentioning, and we'll see how they dealt with as we'll go through the document. So I'll send that out hopefully this morning, and you can hopefully expect it in your email boxes some time later today.
Great. Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you. Right.
Very good. Thank you all. Roy, have a good afternoon.
Thank you. You too. Be well.
Mayor and Lou and Barry will